Well, we got some water on the boil over here to make some hot chocolate, and I got my hardtack moved up on top of the chair over here on that drying rack or cooling rack to see if it's going to get cooled down enough to have some hot chocolate here in a few minutes. I hate having that light on top of that camera, as it was nice and bright in here with just my grease lamp burning, but not enough to film. I really think that this barrier I put on top of here with these two space blankets making a difference in the temperature in here. I know I can see my breath right now, but it's really warm. I mean, I'm too hot in what I'm wearing right now, especially at the level this stove is. I can't remember who suggested that to me. It might have been several people, but it was a good idea. I need about 3 or 4 more of those space blankets to put around the ceiling up here, and that'd be dandy fine there. But definitely an improvement for sure. And that's what this is all about, you know, making subtle improvements as you go, and just learn by living it. You know, that's what it's all about. You know, that's the only way you can learn. But I got some water over here. It should be getting pretty hot pretty quick. Oh yeah. Get my hot chocolate out here and we'll try some of this hardtack and see how that turned out. My hot chocolate may be over here. Yep, there she is. I know my spoon's over here. So I washed it out, put it back in my pack. Okay, I think our hardtack's getting nice and cooled down now. You can see what that looks like. Pretty good cake there. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute and see what kind of consistency we got out of it. Mix us up a little bit of hot chocolate mix here to go with it. A lot of hot chocolate mix to go with it. Okay, well, let's see what we got here, guys. Now, they say that the original recipe for this hardtack would have made 10 bricks that were 3 inches by 3 inch square, and I made 1/4 of that recipe. So figure 3 inch by 3 inch squares, you're going to have a little bit over 3 right here, probably, or right at 3, something in that nature. But what you would do with this is just cut it up and, you know, wrap it in a cloth and put it in your haversack. And, you know, they say that a good recipe for this would last a year on the trail, so, or in a cask or in a storage container or whatever. So let's kind of break a piece of this off and see what we got here. And they said it was supposed to be kind of flaky, and this might be just a little bit doughy on the inside. Might not have got quite as done as I wanted it to get. But I'll tell you what, it's really good. Wow, it's really good. And the hot chocolate's really hot. Maybe just a little longer on the cook time. I figured it was going to come out about the consistency of like some kind of a pie crust, is what I pictured in my head when I read the recipe. But and it's a little bit chewier than pie crust, but it's really good. Well, there you go, guys. Quick frontier recipe for hardtack. I'm sure you can make this on the trail just as easy, especially if you had some aluminum foil or something where you could just throw it in the fire. But it's good stuff. No doubt about that. Well, I'm still drinking some of this hot chocolate. Ate another piece of this hardtack, and I wanted to tell you guys, I was talking earlier about how I thought it was warmer in here tonight with that space blankets up there on top of in the rafters there, and I just looked up the thermometer. I've actually got the thermometer up at rafter level, if you remember from one of the videos I showed, and it's saying 58 degrees right now. So it's way more than warm enough in here for me, especially dressed the way I am. I mean, I could strip down easy enough right now to skivvies and be comfortable in that kind of weather, with just a light wool blanket. I pulled out my wildy wool blanket last night because it got a little chilly in here. It got down to 18 degrees last night, and I kind of let the fire die down in the middle of the night a lot, off and on. But, I think if I can stoke this thing up to 58 or 60 degrees when I get ready to bed down tonight, I'm going to be toasty warm. If I wake up, the cold will wake you up because it's going to make you have to urinate. And, Iris was telling me about some of the comments on the bucket situation over here. And I want you guys to know I don't take a crap in the bucket. Okay, the bucket is for a urinal at night and empty it in the morning. I generally don't have to do that in the middle of the night. So I can go out and dig a hole. That's not a big deal. But urine is sterile. I wouldn't, suggest anyone to drink their urine, but there's been, I always tell my students, you should be using your water bottle at night instead of getting out of your sleeping bag or getting out of your shelter. You should be urinating in that water bottle at night. Drink your fill before you go to sleep. Empty that water bottle out, urinate in it all night, and it's going to be warm. You can put that thing next to your body and help you gather warmth at night, because that urine is going to come out of your body, at body temperature. It's going to be warm. And then you can empty that bottle out in the morning, rinse it out in the creek. Like I said, urine is sterile, and it's good to go for the next day. Fill it up with water, boil it, and you're ready to rock and roll. It might sound gross, but it's called, improvise, adapt, and overcome. You use what you have. If you're in a very cold weather environment, which obviously this is not inside this luxurious yurt, which is why I'm using a 5-gallon, which is why I'm using a 2.5-gallon bucket over here to urinate in. But if you're in a situation like the cold water submersion experiment that we did, there's no way. If I had a big enough fire, if I had a reflector, and if I had that emergency space blanket set up properly, and I was nice and toasty warm in there, there's no way I'm going to get out of that, and go out and urinate by a tree or something and then come back when I can just urinate in my water bottle and be done with it. The same thing if you had a debris shelter or a leaf bed or something you were sleeping in. Why would you want to get up out of that and have to crawl back into it in the middle of the night when you could just urinate in your water bottle? But anyway, so I wanted to kind of throw that out there to you guys. I'm not crapping in this bucket. I just use it for urination at night. I wash it out in the morning. Urine is sterile. It's not going to hurt anything, so don't be too grossed out by that. But it is a good survival lesson to understand, that you should be able to urinate in your water bottle and it shouldn't bother you. And if it does, then you need to rethink your priorities a little bit. But anyway, I'm going to drink some more of this hot chocolate here and I'll get back to you guys in a little bit. I said a couple of you guys were asking about this tile floor. I just thought I'd show you real quick what I've got going on here. Is I went and bought a chunk that's like 3 foot by 4 foot. Move these deer hides out of the way. It's about 3 foot by 4 foot, and it's just a round piece of I guess it's probably fiberglass or something. It's got a sheet of metal over the top of it right there, and it's made for underneath a stove, like a 3-legged stove you'd put in a cabin or something. And we found this at Tractor Supply for about 50 bucks, I think. But it definitely gives you that peace of mind of I don't have to worry about the floor catching fire when the stove gets hot. So we put that in here just to give ourselves a little bit more security. And I wanted to answer that question while I had a chance to do that before I edit this video.